Hello everybody, and it's Kevin Wadsworth here from NorthStarBadCharts.com, just running you through a Cryptocast. This one is for Bitcoin, and this particular broadcast is going out publicly. We've got a lot more detailed and extensive Cryptocasts on all of the cryptocurrencies that we're covering at the moment. Well over 30 cryptocurrencies, of course, on the website. This one for Bitcoin, I thought it was an interesting point to do a little bit of a quick broadcast for everybody to have a look. This is the triple arc chart that I've been drawing for quite some time now. You'll have seen this on my Twitter feed. Arc number one, partially formed there as Bitcoin sprung into existence, and the arc began to form, and price started to take on its cyclical behavior, rising and falling and rising and falling in cycles. All fairly normal behavior, but the important thing that we're looking at now is what's happening in arc number three, and how do these arcs stack up over time, and are they going to continue to play out in the way that they have in the past? And you can see at the moment that we're very close to the edge of the arc here. The price action, if I just zoom in a little bit, it distorts the arc when I do that, so don't worry about that too much. So you can see how the price action has moved up through arc number three. Now it's come back down, it's tested the edge of the arc, it's moved up again, and we came down to 30,000 with this little mini inverted arc here. We had a wick-off distribution pattern in the top of this arc and some good signs, clues and indicators that we were heading down. Price fell by more than 50%, and we've hit the edge of arc number three and bounced up. So it bounced up from 30,000 to where we've just been recently, well above 45,000 or so. We're coming back down at the moment. We're 43,899 as I'm recording this. And the question is, what next? We've seen a pullback and a lot of volatility in the markets, all sorts of things going on overseas with companies that are in trouble in China in particular, and also all sorts of things going on with energy prices, lumber prices, and various commodities, and is inflation transitory, and all that kind of stuff. Looking at the Bitcoin chart a little bit more simplified, this one here takes the look at the cycles, which are sort of roughly 4 years apart, give or take, from low to low, that is, measuring from low point to low point, it's sort of roughly 4 years or so. You can see the cyclical nature displayed here, but the point to note on this Bitcoin chart is the 12-month moving average, and that's currently at 38,529, 38,530. It's changing all the time whilst I'm recording this, but it's in that 38,500 area. As long as we're remaining above that, then in terms of the 12-month moving average as an indicator, then we're okay. So I really wouldn't want to see it falling below the 12-month moving average, because that really only tends to happen when we're turning down into a bear market, or we're already in a bear market. Once you're in a bullish trend, you shouldn't really be falling below the 12-month moving average. This is zooming in a little bit more in detail at the Bitcoin price action. You can see a large arc here wanting to guide price up, and you can see an inverted arc here wanting to guide price down. The point that we're coming to at the moment is a test of those two arcs. So are we going to have the larger arc pulling price up, or are we going to be brought under the influence of this smaller one dragging price back down towards 30,000 or less? So it's a choice here. In the 42,000 area, we're faced with a decision point, up or down. If we take the blue path and we move up, we've got a test at the arc edge here, which is around about 49 to 50,000, which would be a good clue or indicator, and a resistance line, resistance area around 52,000. Above that, things turn much more bullish, and upside forecasts suddenly come into focus quite nicely. Any move below 42,000, any sort of sustained move below 42,000, and it opens up all sorts of downside scenarios. This arrow is very simplified, of course, but what's more likely to happen is that we'd have a bit of a plunge, and then the price would move upwards, and then test the edge of the small arc, and then move downwards, that kind of thing. So it's a big question mark here, and we're at that decision point. So we're going to find out very soon which way we're headed. Bitcoin dominance is always worth a look. This chart shows how much of the cryptocurrency market is made up of Bitcoin by market cap, and Bitcoin dominance is interesting to try and use this as an indication, because we don't really have a lot of history of this to use. So we're looking at the last time that we're in a crypto bull cycle here where the Bitcoin dominance dropped very sharply as the price of Bitcoin rose, and we then went into this holding pattern, and Bitcoin continued to rise and reached its highs actually around about the time that we were just coming down to this test this support area on this kind of holding pattern. It's like an expanding wedge type of thing here. At the point where Bitcoin dominance gave up and started to plummet, the price of Bitcoin fell sharply, and the altcoins had a final surge, a large final surge, and then entered their own bear market cycles. So Bitcoin dominance is an interesting one, because at the moment we've seen that plunge, and we've seen a support area develop, and this support area, horizontal support area, which we've bounced off. If I zoom in and look a little bit closer at the 4-hour chart, you can see, I'll expand the scale, you can see how we've come down and tested the horizontal support area that was set earlier on back in May and also in June. We've tested that same area again, and we're bouncing up at the moment. So Bitcoin dominance is rising. So whilst it's been doing that just recently, the price of Bitcoin and the altcoins have all been kind of tumbling. So what's going to happen next? Well, if this Bitcoin dominance chart continues to rise, I think the price of Bitcoin will start to pick up, and the altcoins will slowly start to pick up. And when we see a drop in this from a higher point, and eventually a break below the support area, that's when Bitcoin should be reaching its peak, and the altcoins should be then expected to have their final surges. So to me, it feels as though this Bitcoin dominance chart is suggesting that the crypto bull market has longer to run, with short-term weakness in the cryptocurrencies that should resolve themselves to the upside as this Bitcoin dominance chart begins to rise. It's interesting to note that the price of Bitcoin can rise or it can fall as the dominance goes up, and it can rise or it can fall as the dominance comes down. It's not directly correlated that the Bitcoin price goes up or down with this dominance chart. This is just showing you what percentage of the cryptocurrency market is made up of Bitcoin, and you can read in all sorts of things to that fact or that statistic. But the main takeaway point that I'm sort of looking at is that as long as this holding pattern continues, the current bull market isn't finished, going on past evidence, but we don't have a lot of past evidence. So from a scientific point of view, it's a little bit flaky from that point of view to read too much into it, but it's an interesting chart to reference, and one that I'll be continuing to look at. One other good sign, I suppose, is that the last time this chart broke down and the crypto bull market came to an end, I'm going to have to put it on the daily chart here, I think, because I'm not going to be able to go back far enough. The last time that happened, if you look carefully, the volume rose very, very steeply, and as it actually broke down from this pattern, the volume shown on the bottom here, these candles on the bottom, kind of doubled in size. So you'd expect similar behavior if we're about to do the same thing again, I guess. And that hasn't really happened yet. The candles are, I'm just going to draw a rectangle on here to kind of show you what the average size of the candles is there in that red box. Okay, so you would expect, of course it's not going to stay there, is it, when I wanted to put it there? There we go. You'd expect the red box to kind of double in height, with candles coming out much higher if this was breaking down and signaling the end of the cryptocurrency bull market. It hasn't done that yet, and so that's a good sign as well. So that's it. That's a little bit of a quick look at Bitcoin and how it might be affecting the cryptocurrency bull market going forwards. There's a lot more detail on this and all the other cryptocurrencies on the website northstarbadcharts.com for those of you that are members, and for those of you that aren't, we'll continue to put big picture posts on Twitter and social media for you. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye for now.